everybody. Welcome to Victory Talk. I am your host, Lady J, and our other host, Key, is in the building as well, or in the virtual building, so to speak. Amen. So we are excited for another session of Victory Talk. Look, y'all, we're gonna have a good time tonight. We're gonna have a good time this evening. So listen, let's get started by doing this. Y'all text somebody. Come on, y'all, get y'all phones. Y'all know how we do when something good on TV or something good come on the radio or something we want to share with somebody. Get y'all phones out, text somebody, tweet somebody, call somebody, tell them Victory Talk is on, and you do not want to miss this evening's show. It's going to be fire. I have no doubt that it's going to be fire. So come on, y'all. So before I introduce our guest tonight, we have two ladies that, I feel like what they do is truly amazing and spectacular. And I believe in my spirit that what they do is they're the glue that helps some of these, programs and some of our worlds come together. So I'm excited about what we are going to share with you tonight. So tonight our session is on social workers. And so March is, and I didn't know this before now, but March is Social Work Awareness Month. And so we just really felt like it was imperative and important that we bring them on our show and share with our viewers and our guests, a little bit, some background about social work. So before I get started, Key, you want to jump in there, girl?
Hey. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the evening talk. I'm excited to be here. Happy Friday, as I always say.
Yes. And she looking all cute. She cute, y'all.
Sissy.
So our special guest tonight, and I'm sure that a lot of you recognize their faces, and y'all see their social work shirts on. Y'all, I don't want to tell y'all put your chest all up. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
But their shirts are fire. I love their shirts. This is one of the social work team that's in the state of Maryland, and so we are excited to have our sister Tina Turner and our sister Sharee Brooks. People,
yes,
y'all. Before I'm not gonna give a whole lot of their background, other than the fact that they're not just our sisters in Christ and mothers, and one of them's a grandmother. Wives, but they are really awesome women, and some women that full of compassion, because you have to be compassionate to be in the field of social work. That is really, I feel as though that it has to not just be in your personal life, but it has to be in your work field life as well. And I know these ladies, and I know that they have that compassion. And so I'm excited to bring them on. So since Tina is, we're going to go ahead and get started with her. So Tina, can you introduce yourself to our viewers and share, how long you've been doing social work, and, whatever you want to share about yourself before we get into the topic.
Hi, my name is Tina Turner, and I've been a social worker now going on like 12 years. I started off working with children. I worked in CPS for a long time. I've only been in adult services the last few years, but it's a rewarding job. When I was in CPS, that's when I really got my groundwork, my footwork on the floor, because CPS is a little bit different from adults. With CPS, you have several different components. You have the families, the parents, you have the therapists, the school piece. So you have several different people when it comes to the children. You have a lot of times the courts are involved. So we have to take on not just that child, but we're taking on the whole, and it's everyone. And then we become part of the team to try to make what's best for that child. Being in, child protective services, vulnerable children that was put in situations. One day I said, I'm gonna write a book about all of this, because some of the things that I saw and heard, I really couldn't believe it because I grew up with, a close-knit family that foster care and things like that wasn't really even mentioned when I was coming up. So now I'm so happy that, later in throughout the years that foster care is around for children that's needed. Not only am I a social worker, I'm also a foster parent. So I do 2 roles every day, my work job, but I also have this job as a foster parent. So it's a rewarding, but it's also challenging. And me and Sharee picked these shirts tonight because when it says social workers in the trenches, that's true. We go beyond the call of duties most of the time.
All right now. Wow. Tina, I connect with you somewhat because and this has been years. I mean, like probably maybe even 20 years. I worked at Child Protective Services in Towson, and I transcribed the cases. And let me tell you, that was a hard for me. I didn't personally interact with the families and the children's, but I read it, I heard it and I typed it and I lived it. I took it home with me. It was difficult. So I can only imagine, what you went through or what you go through in terms of, working directly with them. Yeah, that's wow. So I take my hat off to you on that because that is it's very weighty, it's a weighty job. It's a weighty job. But I thank you for what you do. I thank you for what you do. Not just what you do, what you did then, but what you're doing now as well. So come on, Sharee, let's hear from you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I want to first just thank Reverend Jackie and Kiara for the invitation, for allowing us to come and talk about something that, we really love to do. I've been doing social work since 1999. Well, I've been with social services since 1999. I've worked with children in foster care, and I also been in a teen parent program, and I worked as a social worker in an OBGYN clinic. And now me and Tina are in adult services. So that's a little summary of us. But what we wanted to do tonight is that, Tina's gonna tell you all, she already said some things, but she's gonna tell you all a little bit more about CPS and just the whole child welfare part of it. CPS is one of the services there. And then I'm going to come back and talk a little bit about adult services.
Okay. Key?
Yep. So let's just jump right on in there. The first question that I had for you ladies this evening, and I guess you can, take turns on who wants to answer when, but what made you decide this as a profession? Because as you all were stating, and Lady J stated, it is not an easy task. I'm sure, I'm certain of it, so what made you get into social work or decide, to go that career path? You want to go first?
Well, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I had no idea I was going to go into social work world. My son was in high school, and he had to do some college papers he wanted me to help him out with. And I was like, okay, going to college. He was like, Mom, why don't you come on in and do it too? Go to college. If 2 people in the household go to college, we can do this together. So in a way, my son pushed me in the direction because it was something that I always had in the back of me, but I needed probably the extra push. And my son was like, let's do this. So that's what made me get into social work, because I was actually working in the school system when I got this degree. So I actually have been in the school system and working in all of the group homes. But being this social worker, coming in this world, it has really been really rewarding, I must say. it has been a rewarding job that, yes, it is, like you say, Kiara, it's a professional, it's a career. Because even after I'm probably retired, I'm probably going to still be social work because it's in us. You know, it's the care. It's what we do for the others. We want to see other people, you know, do good, do better, overcome. So they are some of the things that keep me going while I'm still there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and while you're on that note, since you mentioned it, did your son wind up going into the same profession as well, or did he do something else?
He does something else. He's financial advisor. He's business major.
Okay, very good, very good. That's awesome that you guys were able to, you know, journey through that together, because the support system is everything for sure, especially when we go back to school, you know, as adults, and, you know, we got to sit in the classrooms with the younger folks and try to navigate the waters. And look, I can say younger folks now.
Yeah.
And I'm grown now.
And what's so unique about it, Kiara and Jackie and y'all, my son is my adopted son. So I've been doing this road a long time. Wow. So yes, and he was inspiring me because he was getting the tuition to go. And so that's how I was able to go as well. But yeah, he's doing really well. I'm proud of him.
That's amazing. Congratulations. All right, what you got for us, Sharee?
What pulled me into social work was an experience that I had. I was a teen parent, and I had a negative experience with a social worker that I went to for help. So I always wanted to, I didn't know at that time I wanted to be a social worker, but I knew I wanted to be in that helping profession. When I first went to college, my first major was actually criminal justice. I actually wanted to be a warden, so I thought. And the reason that I thought I had the wrong mindset of what a warden was, I wanted to be a part of that whole rehabilitation process, but I wanted to be active in it. So when I started at the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and then just before I had my daughter, I came back home to UMBC, and they didn't have that major, and I thought that social work just was the closest to what it sounded like I wanted to do. It was destiny. I didn't know it at that time, but you know, God always sets things up in the perfect way. So that experience kind of started my way on to becoming a social worker. So, and like Tina said, it's more than, you know, a job, is a ministry, because it seems like we're never off of work. You know, we leave our jobs, but because people know that we're social workers, they often, you know, call on us for other things. That's what brought me into being a social worker.
Okay, wow. Go ahead, Jen.
I'm sorry, I was going to say something. I wanted to jump in and say that Sharee is also in ministry. So as she made the connection that social work is not just a career or job, it's ministry. And I love the fact that the crossover, you know, the connection, and, you know, because especially when those of us that are in ministry, we find that even our personal lives, that we realize that our personal lives is not just life, it's ministry. And so I applaud you for that, because, you know, in ministry, you're never off. You're always on. The phone ring, you answer. Somebody have a question, you talk, you know, you share and you communicate. And one of the things I love about Church Girl CEO, and by the way, Tina, Deborah Franklin said, when you're ready to write the book, let her know. That's our publisher. And we have books that are about to drop soon. So let her know. And she's on tonight. So she heard what you spoke into the atmosphere.
All right.
Go ahead,
we are claiming that for you. But yeah, so and the thing that I love about Church Girl CEO is that she has taught us, bridging the gap between, business and ministry. There is it's connected. It's connected. And so, yes, Sharee, it definitely is ministry. So let me ask you, both of you ladies, and either one of you that want to answer this, what do you like about your career, your field that you have chosen? What do you like most about it?
I would say this, the feeling that you get, it's the feeling, when you are a part of someone reaching their potential or reaching self-sufficiency, being a part of that. Because, it's not that social work is not something that's rosy. So sometimes, there are periods of time that we may go and it's not anything, happy like that going on, especially when I was in child welfare. So when you come along, when you get something that really works, that works out, it makes you feel good. And it's just, it's just something. It's really not what you can explain. I don't know if I can articulate it right, but and that's why I call it ministry as well, because when you know how when you know that you're doing something that the Lord has called you to do, it's just a different type of feeling. So I just love being a part of people, and social work helps keep me humble. So I'll never be that person that's bigger than the person that's on the street outside. So it social work keeps me humble, because this stuff can happen to everybody. It doesn't discriminate. Trouble does not discriminate, especially now in this COVID season. It's rough for people. It's rough for us.
Yeah.
So, as even as a social worker, you have to be strong when sometimes you really aren't. So.
And it's fulfilling because Sharee can recall an incident that I had during the wintertime back. And I just thought I was just doing my regular old job. Like, went to work one day, I helped a lady out, I got the lady situated, other little details in between. But at the end of the day, the lady had no one, and her family was in Philadelphia, and her daughter, when I called her, she drove here. I said, hey, I had your mom in my office. You have to come and get her. What was so exciting about that day, my coworkers, my team, everybody was jumped on board. They were helping any way they can. But what was most revealing was we were in an all-staff meeting, and the director, I didn't know it was coming. He said for Tina Turner to stand up. And when he gave me accolades and praises for helping that lady, which something I just naturally just do. But it felt rewarding that not just everyone at the job, the whole staff, about 150 people in this room stood up and gave me a standing ovation. I thought that was really rewarding because I really wanted to help the lady, but I didn't want any praise, anything for it. It was just something that I do. Right. I do social work good. My grandmother died a few years ago, and somebody said to me, my grandmother said a long time ago, maybe you should have been a nurse. So I know she's looking down on me. I didn't get to be a nurse, but this is best thing next to it because it's still in the helping business. And I think I get that from my grandmother because she always wanted to just help. And that's just me. I love the young and I love the old.
Tina, you trying to make me cry, don't you? I don't cry on screen,
She
girl.
feel like she's struggling a little bit over there, and I'm like, oh Lord, please don't.
Now, ma'am.
Because we all gonna be snotting.
Yeah, no. Listen, we have a question. Miss Vicky said, hey, Miss Vicky, Victoria Green, she said, do you think that social workers get a bad reputation when things go wrong with the cases?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's probably a reason too why Tina felt the way that she does, because social workers don't get a lot of praise, because sometimes we are that person that comes in and do things that the family may not want, like remove a child or something like that, so that's something that families would not, we're not a good person then, if we're in a court and we're fighting for someone to maybe be adopted or something like that, but we aren't, it's not a praise thing. So that's why, you got to be social work. You got to really want to do it. You have to be called to it because it's not for the accolades and it's not for the money. But yeah.
And she also had another comment, and she said at one time there was a true shortage in social work. Is that still the case? Are your caseloads heavy? Is the struggle from, not getting the praise or recognition, does that keep people from coming into that field of work?
Well, I would say it's still a demanding field. We still need social workers. That's always going to be around. But we social workers, we wear a lot of hats. Like Sharee said, we are social workers, but we also wear other hats that goes along with it. Any given day, we could have to be that person. So, what'd you say, Sharee?
We're talking
Are we
about
shortage? Are we a shortage?
I would say that things are definitely better with caseload. Definitely. I came, like I said, from child welfare. That's where you get all your skills from. You're tested in the fire. Over there. And when I was over there, it was a lot, but my understanding now is that it is getting better. The hard thing is that only the strong survive. So there are a lot of people who come into the field and leave, who come into this part. Because social workers, one thing people may not know, that we are everywhere. We are not just in social services. Yeah. We are not, just involved in giving out assistance. That was something I used to get a lot when I first started working with DSSs. How do I get food stamps, or I don't know. I still don't know. I don't work in that part. Social workers, we do so much other things than DSS. We are everywhere. Like I said, I work at the University of Maryland with the OBGYN and, working with the pregnant moms and, we're in the jails. We're everywhere.
In schools.
Yeah, we're in schools. Yeah, we're everywhere. So I'm thankful, that you asked that question and that we're on here today, because a lot of times when you say social worker, the first thing people think about is foster care or things like that. But and we do that. We do it and we do it well. But we want people to know that social workers are everywhere. So you can still be a social worker and not do exactly this. Nursing homes, dialysis centers, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. So, but I think things are getting better with that.
Awesome. So real quick, so just out of, tell us what you can. We understand what you can't. Okay. How do you guys handle high pressure situations? Because I've seen some situations, get out of hand from my days of working at Child Protective Services. So how do you guys handle that? Has it ever gotten to the point where you've had to call in, law enforcement, or, had to have somebody removed? How do you guys handle those situations?
Well, I can say on the when I was in child welfare, I did have probably, I would say, a dangerous situation of where I did have to go into a house. It is actually, you like to say, like a drug den or whatever. And I did have to go with an officer. And he actually even said, you know, because he knew I was a little bit nervous. He was like, you know, just stand behind me. My vest going to protect both of y'all. Like, this is like, it's the ugly side of it. So there are incidents like that, but you know, we don't. Yeah,
Well, you don't, Sharee.
we don't.
Now,
We
me and
don't.
Sharee do a little different at work. I'm an investigator. So an investigator goes with the po-po all the time. We go with the police all the time. So being the investigator, my job is a little bit more tougher than Sharee, I would say, because I have to put on my game face. Like, I do removals all the time. And it's because I tell the family or friends, supporters that's listening, my main goal is to keep that client safe. That's what I do. It's not about anything else. It's about getting the client safe, getting the client hooked up to services. Because a lot of time, you know, I just had this little situation yesterday. A case of mine and a young lady. She's the daughter of the lady. And at the same time, she's in this mental health field. But she said to me, Miss Turner, I don't know how to help my own mother. You're the social worker. I'm just the mental health worker. And she said, I will take whatever you give me because I know you know what's the expertise in it. So at the same time, you know, I do have to make some hard decisions. I go with the polices. Most of the time it's okay. The police, they always have our back. Most of the time they give us our reports because see, I deal with abuse, vulnerable adults that are being abused or being neglected. So I have to take the police with me to a lot of these situations, especially the physical abuses. And it's not nothing personal. It's all to help the person. I have clients getting EP where we have to get them to the hospital because of their capacity. They're not really on the full level of thinking correctly. They could be having something going on internally. Sometimes these folks' medication mess with them and they are all over the place. And it's just a simple way they don't even know what's happening. But once they get to the hospital, of course, they're going to be examined. And of course, anytime you're going to get a social worker or a case manager at a hospital. So we're never leaving anyone alone. We always there with someone to walk with them, to walk by their side and carry their hands. Because we know that it comes with a lot of components and it's a lot of confusion. But we, as the expertise, we're here to help. That's what I tell my clients all the time. I'm here to help. As long as they can keep hearing that word help, and not hurt, because that's what they're used to. They want to see something different. And I bring them the solution of, I'm here to help.
Wow. Right. And I'm glad that Tina made that distinguish that because we do two different things. So she is in the trenches. That's why her shirt say trenches and mine say battle tested. I deal with adults who are in supportive housing. So it's like adult foster care is what I deal with right now and helping clients who within a home aid service. So these people actually still live in their own home, but they need some help, some assistance. So I'm on that side. So I'm definitely on the calmer side of, you know, Tina is out there. She's still in the trenches. So yeah.
Before I jump over to Key, I'm coming just a second. Miss Barbara has a question. Hey, Miss Barbara Stewart, that's Tina's mom.
Hey, Miss Barbara. Hey, Mom.
Miss Barbara says, good evening, ladies. Do you follow up with clients after placing them in a facility?
Oh, yes. You get some clients that will never forget you, and they'll call your agency phone and just to say hi. But what happened was Christmas time had just left. One of my clients had just came to the agency and brought me this big old gift and was supportive. And I hadn't worked with her in about a year. But yeah, sometimes you do leave impressions and people will remember you. So
yeah, that's true. Some of them, you know, it just doesn't leave you, you know. And yeah,
now Sharee be with her clients a little bit longer than I. My clients is a turnaround. I'm with them for up to 60 days. So Sharee is with them long term, a little bit longer than I am. So I'm always seeing clients coming and going. This is what I did.
Okay, so that leads me into my next question, because I promise as I'm reading these comments, I'm laughing to myself because my mom, this is the second question that she's asking that I had on my list, mother. It's so crazy, but funny at the same time. So the next question was, well, okay, so I'm gonna read you her comment because my question was at the end of her question that she's asking. So she says, it seems that so many families are broken. How are you able to separate and actually have a work-life balance? And those are my words that she's using, again, creepy. How do you go from not bringing the work home with you or trying not to?
You gotta have, what helps me is my faith. So you gotta pray about it. You're blessed to be on the less stressful side of it now, but you just gotta pray about it. And sometimes you have to know when to say when. That's why I left foster care, is because it was coming home with me too much. I just never was letting it go. I was, sleeping with my cell phone beside me just in case they needed to call me in the middle of the night. So it was hard to leave, but I know that for my own health, I needed to move. So sometimes you just have to know when to move, because in order for you to help people, you got to be strong enough. So you want to be your best. So when you can identify that it's time for you to move on, then that's what you have to do. So I think that's how you keep the balance. But for me, I just take God everywhere I go. So I just got to pray a lot. I pray a lot.
And for me, I'm going to say self-care. One thing my supervisor has taught me was to do self-care. Like, we have to do that for ourselves, because a lot of times we put us at the bottom of the barrel. My phone will ring all night. If, an investigation is always ringing. I'm always everywhere. But what I do practice is self-care. I try it Fridays at 5 o'clock, just really tune it out and just enjoy the weekend, enjoy my family. And when it was church, going to church. So that's how I would get my little outlet, because it can be overwhelming, but sometimes you got to just make that time for yourself.
And that was going to be another little tidbit. I didn't have this written down, but are you guys having to be on call? So how do you disconnect? Do you do any type of on-call rotation on your jobs to where you have to keep your phone plugged in and answer it over the weekend or during times when you're off?
I don't do, not me.
She said that quick. No, I don't.
No, not me.
So I am 24/7. I have to keep my cell phone, but like I say, on the weekends, I can turn it off. But throughout the weekdays, I better be available.
Wow.
That's ministry.
Absolutely.
Listen, we have another question. Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa. Reverend Vanessa Williams. She says, how do you control your patience level? I can only imagine, sometimes you guys, your buttons are being pushed on so many different, sides. How you guys control or keep an even keel?
It's work. Sometimes, sometimes you don't handle it well. But it's work, because what you have to realize is that we have jobs, but we also have to come home. So at home, you got children, you got husband, you got whatever that you still have to deal with. So, and just without being a social worker, sometimes it's just, you got to deal with some stuff just to have family in the home. So, but yeah, that's it. We just gotta, it's a task. It's a task time. And like I said, Tina's, I paid my dues. Tina's still out there, so she's probably had more times when she gotta do that type of stuff. No,
yeah, I'm trying to get over there to the penthouse where Sharee at, y'all. I'm trying to get over there. In a few years, I should be over there.
To the penthouse.
Tina, Dana Smith says hi, and she says, as your co-worker, and she personally knows that you work hard for your clients.
Well, tell her I said, and I believe it's Miss Diane. Yep. Hi, Diane.
When I see a Dana Smith and
yep, that's
Diane.
our daughter's iPad copy.
Okay. Well, they on here, they on YouTube. They catching it. They catching it. Hey, ladies.
I think my supervisor is over there too.
Okay. She ain't chimed in at anything yet. I'm just saying the comment from Diane. So let me ask you guys this. What's your caseload like on a regular basis?
Well, mine changes. So when I was in CPS, the Believe It or Not group, I had up to 40 cases. 40 of them. CPS. So now in APS, adult services, I get between, 10, 20 cases, but it's better than 40.
And I'm, this ain't the caseloads are, they're good. They're under 20, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Now, is that daily?
I can't complain.
Is that daily?
Huh?
Is that daily?
Well, you have a case. Tina's is, like she said, revolving because she only holds them for a certain time because she's an investigator. On my side, I have a consistent caseload. So these are my clients. Some I've just got, some I've had, for the 13 years I've been in adult services. So it depends on what unit you're in, I guess, what service you are doing. But mine's is consistent. So that's yes for me.
And mine's are revolving. I'm always, so I probably see so many cases throughout a year in its time. Like, yeah.
So let me ask you ladies this now that you're, because the more that we're talking, which is always good, it kind of like leads to somewhere else where we may have not planned to go. But you keep mentioning that you paid your dues and you put your time in, and you in the penthouse as Miss Tina was saying. So is it levels to it? Like when you come in, because that is something that I was going to ask you guys, what made you leave working with the children? But do you start out like entry level, like at a certain level, and then you have to graduate to certain points, or how does that work?
No, it's just the different programs. People think Department of Social Services is one program. Department of Social Services, several programs. I'm an investigator. Sharee is, what do you call you, Sharee? What do you No. She's more in the housing, keeping clients in a secure housing.
Right.
In that place. I am trying to get them safe to get to a house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether it's a house, a hospital, a nursing home, a family. So that's what I do. I put people in other areas to get them where they already put and they already stable. My job is to get them safe first and then stable.
So do you get to pick your specialty area? I think is more what I was leaning towards, or is it assigned?
I don't know. I just wanted to make a comment on something you said before. As far as when I say paying my dues is because I hope there's some social workers on here, but I think also social workers, especially in our agency, should have some time in CPI, foster care or something, because that is paying your dues. I feel like because I work there, what I've seen, what I've had to do, I can work anywhere. Wow. I think, I feel like I can work anywhere. So when I say I paid my dues, I can't do that running. Tina's done, no, I can't do it. But yeah, I paid my dues. Yeah.
All right. And so Miss Victoria, again, she said, can you actually choose which unit or case types you're provided?
Oh yes, because guess what? Sharee unit, they're about to get a lot of retirees over there. So I'm getting over there. Oh, believe me, I'm going. I'm getting there. It's a minute. Sharee already know. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
those see when you over there with Sharee, it's like you're up on the penthouse. I'm still on the elevator, probably up on the 6th floor, right? So I got to get up there. But let me tell you, when you get there, you don't leave, okay? So I can't wait. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Even if it take me about a couple more years, I'll be over there.
I don't know about the penthouse, but definitely not investigation.
Right. But yeah, I had some of my coworkers that are investigators that went over to Sharee department. It just depends on the opening and really, it's really, that is.
And you still have to like apply, because it's a different unit, so you may have to, apply, interview, and all of that stuff.
Yes. All of
So
that.
it's not, something that you just get.
Yeah.
You still have to apply for it and interview.
And not only that, we also work in another unit that I can share, which is called the IHOPS. And that's a program that I wouldn't mind working in either, because what they do is they go into the home and they bring in-home services in for folks that can't go out. They do the light cleaning, helping prepping with the medication, helping them if they need to get doctor's appointments, sitting there with them, even just being a social, just being socially for them, because some of our clients, with this dementia and Alzheimer's and different things, if you don't keep feeding it, you'll lose it. So sometimes companion is very important. So we have an IHOS program, and they're excellent over there. They always out here in the community. A lot of people don't even know about it, but it's a part of social services. And they bring in good work because they are helping in the communities.
Yeah, IHOS is a good. I actually have IHOS cases, and it's in-home aid service. That's what we call IHOS.
Thank you.
And it is they go into the homes, and it's actually twofold, because the people that go in to help them, the family support workers or aides, they help them with chore service, would be like light cleaning and small meal prep. And they also do personal care. So some people may need help with bathing or dressing and things like that. So in-home aid services is something out there, like Tina said, a lot of people may not know about, because the goal is to keep people independent as long as possible. And some people just can still live alone, have their own place. They just need some support services in there.
We have another question, but before I jump over to that question, I want to ask you, is there a cost for, that type of service? Are there charges? How to say if we had like a senior who needed that kind of assistance, but they're on a fixed income or.
It's paid through insurance. So, medical assistance, if they have that, is pretty much, but it is income based. If, but, most clients, I don't know if it's most, but a lot of clients, if you have certain insurances, is paid for through your insurance. But I wouldn't, anyone who's want to know more about it, please find out, reach out, because don't let that be a hindrance, because I really don't think that would be something that would hold you back.
Now, can they just call in to say, I don't know, like Baltimore County or the state of Maryland? Can they just call in and say, hey, I need help? Or, how do they reach out? How do they do that?
We have a
hotline, but we're for Baltimore City. I'm sorry we wasn't prepared to give you Baltimore County, because we should have.
It's okay.
But
it's okay. Baltimore City can.
We have a phone number that we can give out for the folks.
Okay, let me know when.
But it's for Baltimore City.
That's okay. That's fine. We got folks everywhere. you know,
Right.
and I found the number for Baltimore City, for Baltimore County, and I'm sure I can get it through Baltimore City if I need to refer it. So go ahead
Right.
and give it to me, Tina, as Kiara's preparing. She has another question.
So I believe it's Sharee, 44, what is it, Sharee?
Our 410 361
361
2235. That's our intake number
Gotcha.
hotline.
hotline.
Okay, absolutely.
And
Thank
we
you.
and
Okay,
I'm gonna have
Big.
another number for you before we get off, because we do have intake at adult services where we have one centralized intake, and they'll take the calls and direct it to where it needs to go.
I'm so glad that Lady J asked that question because I work with senior disabled residents, and I know a lot of times we struggle. I'm in property management, but when we have these people who don't have a support system, either they don't have any family members, you know, friends to help them, or these people just don't want to help them, you know, people really need to kind of know what, you know, the different agencies do and what type of help is out there for them. I know we had, you know, one resident that was pretty much immobile. And, you know, the hospital is looking at us like, well, we're dropping this lady off. Can you, you know, figure out how to like get her to her apartment? Because I don't want to leave her by herself. And we're just like, we're limited to what we can do, you know, on the property level. So we didn't know what to do, you know, so I had to tell her, I'm like, you're going to have to call somebody because, I mean, you can't just leave her, you know, out there on her own. And the hospital didn't want to take her back. So, you know, it's just really, and I'm just amazed, you know, during this conversation to discover that how many different things, you know, your agency actually handles, because I had no idea, you know, the different levels to it. And, you know, how you, I'm just thinking, you know, basic social work and, you know, the children and, like you said, the family, the court system and stuff like that. I had no idea that you guys do all of that on a day-to-day basis in your agency. So
Yeah.
kudos to you all for everything that you do. I think the next question that I have is, what type of clients do you find the most difficult to work with and why? I know.
Probably the clients that are more, probably your more dimensional Alzheimer's ones, because a little violence can come with that. And it's not even their fault. It's the disease. Okay. So they're basically trying to figure out what's new and happening to them that's different, because at this one lady, she's a sweet little old lady, but she don't have no control of the dementia, and she don't mean to be that way, but it's part of it's taking its course of what's going on with her. So with me, I never get mad with my clients. If I do, I get mad with them for 1 minute and then it's over with, because we have to be their support and their confidence to let them know that it's going to be better. Everything is going to be okay.
Right. Right. And my answer to that is that we, you know, the same as Tina, you know, we have difficult cases, but not difficult people. We just, you know, everybody has their issues that they go through, and we just deal with it. It's our job.
Now, you know, on my end, I go to work some days, I could get cursed out, I could get ready to be beat up, threatened, get out of here, this social worker, and I get all of that. But you know what I do? I leave with a grain of salt. I get in my car and I just pray and say, thank you, Jesus, that I made it out of it. But when I go home and it's me, in the morning, I have to go right back to that job. So you just don't have to, you know, you pick your battle. Like I say, I've been doing this for 12 years, but I've been, you know, in this field, like I say, only in adults for 2 years, because I did most of the bulk of the work over there in CPS. And when you see this shirt, it really should have been for CPS, because CPS taught me everything I needed to know. They did. I thank them for that. But at the same time, I also think that I'm no longer there. I love working with the adults. It just gives me this different kind of feeling. It's a more rewarding because some of these adults, they've been having their independence for so long that only thing they really want is their independence back. And we're taking it from them, putting them in these nursing homes, putting them in these assisted living facilities, putting them everywhere. And they feel like their whole world is gone. Like, you really took me from my world. But you let them know it's better. You're getting your ADLs meet. You're safe. The supervision is there. You might can live a little bit longer. So it's a lot of components. You're taking your medication regularly. So when I say when it comes down to when people are being displaced in these places, they're really good because they're really there to help the longevity of that person, whether or not this person's going to be around.
And Reverend Jackie, I apologize, everybody, but I gotta leave. I have another place I need to be at 8 o'clock. But I'm leaving y'all in good hands. Tina knows. She probably knows better than me. But God bless you, and thanks for the invitation.
Before you leave,
Thanks, Sharee.
Sharee, I just want to tell you, Miss Victoria said, well, I thank God for your transition, Sharee, and I appreciate your team for assisting my grandmother. God bless you both for your service to our community. So I just wanted to get that in there before you left.
Okay.
Miss Victoria.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Sharee. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Real quick before, because we only got a few more minutes, Jenny Amos has a question. Can you tell us of a time when your job was very rewarding and the memory just stays with you?
Yes, it was the little lady I was telling you all early on about, the lady that came down from Philadelphia. That was rewarding for me because, like I say, I thought I was just doing my regular old day-to-day job, just getting this lady safe. And it wound up being a big old thing. Everybody was just praising me. And I will never forget that because there was 150 people in the room and they all gave me a standing ovation. Wow. And, you know, all these accolades and little trinkets and gifts came afterwards, but still, it was nice.
Yeah. Miss Barbara said, Mommy said,
hey, Mom.
Tina has a soft heart for the young and the old. And so we just praise God. And I've seen you at work. Look, I've seen you in action. I remember the young man that you brought to one of your foster children's. Well, actually, it was a couple that you brought to church with you. But this one particular one, you know, he was having a moment and, you know, your interaction with him, you know, how you handled him and how you just, you know, calmed him down and brought him back, you know, back into, I say, reality. I was in awe. I was like, okay, Miss Tina, go ahead and do you, girl. I see you.
And I have a current foster child right now. He's a little boy. He's 8. And, you know, I wear different hats. I come home after be the foster parent. And I told him he gets both worlds because he has a social worker outside of here, but he also has a foster parent that's a social worker. So he gets in both worlds. But I have this thing that we have that's a rewarding thing. And if I can share of 10 things of what we say about social work, 10 reasons I love being a social worker.
I love you for doing that because we was going to close out with that.
Okay. Can you put it up? Can you put the slide up?
Or I can't.
Okay.
I didn't get it in time enough to get it to our producer.
Okay, no problem. So, you know, it say 10 reasons. I'm going to show you guys real quick.
Oh, nice. All right. So I can read.
So it says 10 reasons of why you want to be a social worker. So I'm just going to read them and we can close out with this. So I like how they started off with the 10 reasons because they say 10 reasons I love being a social worker. 10, every day brings new challenges. 9, I can put my compassion into action. 8, I'm there for people in need. 7, I make a difference. 6, I help people improve their lives. 5, I serve my community. 4, people are grateful for my efforts. 3, I'm a part of the solution. 2, my work is rewarding. And the last one is the best one. One. I'm proud of what I do. Yep.
All right now. All right now. Okay, Key. So can you close us out?
That is amazing. Amazing. I love it. We just want to say thank you so much to both you and Sharee, for
You're
your
welcome.
willingness to come on and have this discussion with us. It is social work appreciation all month, but in my book, you guys need appreciation all year. You work hard. I'm sure, you put in countless, tireless, just hours, upon hours of work to help and just to pour back into the community. So we just hats off to you both. We appreciate you so much. We thank you for coming on and, your transparency and just sharing and being honest and open with us and all of our viewers tonight.
You're welcome. And Sharee forgot to give that number. I can give that second number.
Oh, yes, please.
So the main hotline for adult services where me and Sharee work would be 443-423-6600.
Awesome. Awesome. Can you repeat that one more time?
443-423-6600.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's you. You closing out. Go on. You got it, girl.
So to all our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in to Victory Talk with us this evening. We hope and pray that you were able to gain some knowledge this evening that you may be able to carry on and pass on with somebody else. We thank you for all the social workers out there. I know that you guys have people watching and supporting you, and I feel like that's very important, just, to have that support system, somebody that has your back and your front. So to all the viewers out there tonight, thank you for joining us. I am your co-host, Key, and our host, Lady J. We thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, peace, love, and blessings. Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.